Okay, so in the last session, we have discussed or we have completed till matplotlib package, right? So if you go and if you try to check the previous sessions, you will see that we have completed these points. As I had said that we are going to need knowledge of this package, right? So I have completed NumPy. Then we talked about pandas, and the last thing which we talked about was matplotlib. And all the nodes related to these packages are already shared. Right? Today we will try to complete the next thing, and that is nothing but Seaborn, which is very important package whenever we talk about visualization. So here I will be talking about some of the visualization methods, okay, which are going to be very useful in machine learning or in general data science, okay. And yeah, in all these things whatever we are going to implement later on, so all these things are going to require, okay. So let's start our discussion with the next topic today, and that is nothing but Seaborn. So if you check, the link for the Seaborn nodes are already shared with you. So let me go to the location and let me start with Seaborn package itself. Right. So again, if you people also want to execute the things along with me, you can. Those people who have attended all the sessions till now, those who are regular and those who have been following all the things regularly, definitely you can follow with me, right? Because these files are already shared with you. Whatever I am trying to show you, NumPy, Pandas, this Matplotlib, and now today I am going to discuss about Seaborn. Right? So Seaborn is actually divided into. So if you have at least tried to see the notes which I have shared with you people, you will see that Seaborn package is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 files. And in the seventh one, there is a exercise and the solution of the exercise. So this is more than sufficient. At least if you go and if you try to do some hands-on on all these files, with the help of all these files, definitely it will help you to make the things easier. It will help you to make the sense out of the things whatever we have discussed or whatever we are going to discuss in this syllabus mentioned in your syllabus, right? So that's why these things are necessary. So let me start with the first thing in case of Seaborn, that is distribution plots. So which are the distribution plots we are going to talk about here, that I will go and I will list out. See, you can see the list. So there is a dist plot, that is distribution plot, joint plot, pair plot, rug plot, and KDE plot. I mean to say, whatever we are going to discuss today, right? It's all related to visualization, and visualization is very important aspect of data analysis or machine learning or data science, even deep learning, even computer vision, natural language processing, whatever you talk about. Okay. So along with statistics or mathematics, what we can say is you are going to require visualization things. You should know some packages which can help you to do visualization. One of the basic package we already talked about in the last session, that is nothing but Matplotlib. So Matplotlib plus Seaborn. This is what we people also make use of most of the times in real-time projects, right? And for statistics, for doing some mathematical operations, we already talked about NumPy. And yes, pandas also we have talked about. Pandas can be used to fetch the data from different sources, right? You have seen that, or at least those people who might not have been able to do all these things till yet. So I will suggest that go and try to refer all the things whatever I have shared, previous sessions, video lectures, as well as the notes which I have shared. Right? So obviously you should have some notebook installed at your place, and then you can go and you can execute the things one by one. So do it as soon as possible, because once I start with the algorithms, what you will be able to see is that I will be making use of these packages again and again. So at that time, it should not happen that you are not aware about those things. I know that some of you might be aware about this one, but yes, those who are not aware about, I'm just trying to tell this particular thing for them. Okay, so you can see distribution plots. So these plots we are going to talk about now, specifically talking about Seaborn package. So what happens in case of Seaborn is there are some data sets. There are some ready-made data sets which are available. So it's not like that we need to explicitly import some data set from some outside data source, and then we need to make use of that and then perform the operations. There are some ready-made data sets which we are going to import and which are present, which are by default present in Seaborn package. You just need to import Seaborn package, and then yes, definitely you will be able to import data set also. So we will be making use of the ready-made data sets which are available in Seaborn package itself, just to understand the data visualization. Okay, now as usual, as we want to work with C1 package, let me go and let me try to show you all the things in a new notebook. So first step, as usual, is going to be what? It is going to be import. Okay, so import C1 as SN. So it's a standard practice. We make use of this particular alias, right, or a short name for Cbone. So as it's already installed, I can go and directly run this particular command. Import Cbone as SNS. I will again repeat, those people who want to do the things parallelly with me, yes, you can. So maybe if you get some doubt in between, definitely you can raise your hand, or you can just unmute yourself and you can ask the doubts. Okay. So let's see. It is not yet imported. Now you can see this is one. The star is gone. Now that means this command is right and it is successfully imported. Imported means what? Now I can go and I can make use of any methods present in Cbone. So SNS dot, you press tab button, you will be able to see all the methods which are present in Cbone package. And again, I will repeat again and again. No need to no need to remember anything. Right? No need to remember all the methods. You just need to know about some of the basic methods, and just on the basis of that, you can go and you can explore the things. This is how one should actually do. Because as a human being, you cannot remember all the things. And again, it's not expected actually. Right. So distribution plots, import we have done. Now this particular line, I hope you remember, this is called as magic line. This generally we make use of whenever we want to make use of matplotlib package in Jupyter Notebook. So this line, which is called as magic line, takes care of plotting the graphs in the specified canvas or the space. Okay. Now here we might not need this right now. That's why I will not run it. Okay. Now let me go and let me first of all import the data. So as I told you that in case of Seaborn, there are some ready-made packages available. There are some ready-made data sets available. One of the ready-made data sets is tips data set. So I want to load that particular data set. So what I can do is SNS dot load underscore data set. So what I had done, SNS dot LO, and then I press tab button. Then I'm able to see this load underscore dataset method, which is present in Cbone. Right? SNS is nothing but Cbone because we have given this alias to SNS. Now, which dataset I want to import? I want to import tips dataset. So if I go and if I try to run it, you'll be able to see that it has imported complete dataset. You can check it. How many number of rows are there? So 0 to 243. That means 244 rows are there and 7 columns are there. Okay. Now here you can check which are what are the column names here. You can see total bill, tip, sex, it is male or female, smoker, yes or no, day, what was the day, time and size. So this data set is about a restaurant, right? So for example, the person, there were some people who visited the restaurant and they generated the bill of $16.99. They had given the tip of $1.01, and both of them they were female. There were no smoker. There was no smoker from them. And the day they visited the restaurant was Sunday. At what time they visited the restaurant? Dinner time. And what was the size? So two people came. Maybe they might have come as a couple. Here you can see in the next three people visited the restaurant, and so on. So you can check people visited the restaurant Saturday, Sunday, Friday, and so on. Right. So why am I trying to explain the data set? Because for this data set only, we are going to plot some graphs, some plots. We are going to do some visualization. And before going for visualization, obviously, it's very, very necessary to understand the data itself. If you do not understand the data, if you do not understand what this data is all about, obviously, you will not be able to make some sense about the visualizations or the plots which we are going to plot. So what we have done here, we have simply imported the data set called as tips dataset. This is the dataset related to some restaurant, related to total bill and tip. Right. So you can check 7 columns are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Right. Now what I will do is I will just go and I will try to assign this particular data set to a variable called as tips. I will try to give a meaningful name, for example. So let me run it. Now the complete data set is now in this variable. Right. So if I go and if I try to do tips, you'll be able to see the complete data set, tips data set. But generally what we do is, in this case, it's okay that we have only 244 number of rows, but in real time what's going to happen is we have lot of rows. Generally we get number of rows, thousands of rows. So instead of that, we generally make use of head command. Tips.head. Tips is a data frame. In pandas, we have seen that. So tip.head. So by default, head command is going to show us what? It is going to show us first 5 records. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These 5 records I will be able to see with the help of head command. Right? This basic thing we have already talked about. Or if you want to check last 6 records, we can make use of tips.tail. Tail is going to show you last 5 records. So you can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So head and tail. I hope you people are aware of it. Okay. But see, remember, there will be some. I will be conducting some objective exams just to evaluate whether people are uh, understanding the things or not. So in that, in those objective types of exams, I will be asking the questions based on these packages. Okay, that's why I try to understand each and everything, even if it's very easy for you, even if you might be knowing it already, or even if you might not be knowing it already. So just try to understand whatever I am discussing here in this session. The questions will be based on that particular thing. Okay? It will be like online test we will try to conduct. Maybe I will let you know 2 3 days prior. I will let you know about that. But the thing is that just try to concentrate whatever I am discussing here. So head is going to show me first 5 records. Tail is going to show me last 5 records. Let's move forward and let's try to see the distribution plot. So the first plot which we are going to talk about is distribution plot. Now, first of all, let me tell you the reason. Let me tell you the reason why we discuss about distribution plot and how distribution plot helps you. Always remember, maybe from the next session, when I will be starting with machine learning algorithms or machine learning techniques, right? So always remember two things. Whenever we want to create a model, so before passing the data to any model, that data should satisfy two properties. That data should always be numeric format. I discussed it many times, and that data should be in normal distribution format. So it should be in normal distribution format. Now, what do you mean by normally distributed data? You might be knowing about it, right? That means the distribution of your data should look like this, or bell-shaped curve we call it as, right? This is called as bell-shaped curve. So your distribution of the data should be in bell-shaped curve, right? So normal distribution, it means what? Normal distribution means data should be symmetrical, right? Or to be more precise, it is standard normal distribution. The difference between normal distribution and standard normal distribution is that in case of normal distribution, your mu is zero, that is mean is zero, but standard deviation it can be anything. This is normal distribution, right? But in case of standard normal distribution, what happens? Always remember, in case of standard normal distribution, it is always centered around zero. That's the only difference. So standard normal distribution also has a bell-shaped curve, but it is always centered around zero, where you have mu is equal to zero, but standard deviation is always 1. Right? I hope you know what is standard deviation. Standard deviation means how much the values deviate from the mean. That is called as standard deviation. For example, this is -1 to 1. So between -1 to 1. So whatever the values you are able to see, this value how much it deviate from mean. This value how much it deviate from the mean. That is standard deviation. Anyway, I will try to go to those points also when we get some time. I will try to discuss about those basic things also, right? But as you people are already from statistics and mathematics background, you people are, I hope you people are aware about all these things, standard deviation and probability, right? The point here is that always remember these two things. So the point of discussing this particular distribution plot here is that it is going to help us to understand how the data is distributed in a particular column. For example, if suppose, now see, tips is my data set. Now from the tips data set, I want to know the data from total bill column. So you can check it. Total bill is one of the columns. It's one of the variables in tips data set. Now what this command is going to do is, this is a simple indexing. It is going to show me all the rows from total bill column only, right? Only from total bill column. So what will happen? Just a minute. So see, we have seen that there are 244 number of rows. So this is going to show me all the data from total bill column. You can check it, see, right? Now I want to understand how the data from this column is distributed, how it is distributed. So there I can make use of distribution plot. How? See, what am I going to do is I am going to pass this particular data, this particular command as an input to this dist plot command. See, what am I going to do is SNS, or let me show it here itself. I will directly go and I will directly show you the command here itself. See, SNS dot distribution plot. So I am pressing tab button. So it is just auto completing the thing. And this particular thing I am just placing it in inside this particular dist plot method. Now let me go and let me run it. Now you will be able to see the visualization. See, this is showing you the distribution. Now what can you understand? What can you interpret from this distribution plot? So we can interpret number of things. For example, you can see on the x-axis we have total bill. On y-axis we have some values here. So actually we are talking about one column only. Obviously there is no second dimension here. But you can check what is this total bill. So you can see that people who are paying 0, $10, $20, $30, 40, 50, 60. There are very few people who are paying the bill in between 40 to 50. You can check it. Very few people are there. Now, what type of bills are generated most of the times? You can see that between 10 and 20. See, you can see that between 10 and 20, this height is more. That means most of the people they generate the bill between 10 and $20. Most of the times. The bill between 10 and 20 is generated most of the times. And there are very few people who generate the bill between 40 and 50 or more than 50. We can say. Right. So that's why see that's why this height is more here because more number of values are there in this column which are in between 10 and $20. Right? And obviously there are other things also which you can understand. But from this particular graph, as I said, what did I say? I said that for passing the data as an input to any machine learning algorithm, you need to make sure that your data should be in normal distributed format. So yes, it somewhat looks like in normal distributed format, but there is some skewness here. See, this is called as skewness. Skewness, see, if you have a distribution plot something like this, it is normally distributed data. But if you have a distribution plot something like this, it's not normally distributed data. Or maybe suppose something like this, if you have, this is not normally distributed data. So this is called as skewness in this case. This is called as skewness in this case. Similarly, we got a skewness. And this type of a skewness is called as positively skewed data. Right? Positively skewed data. Later on, we will talk about how to remove the skewness from the data. Why to remove the skewness from the data? That also we will talk about. This is called as negatively skewed data or left skewed data, and this is called as right skewed data. So in this case, we have positive skewness or positively skewed data, right? So we need to remove the skewness. Why? Why to remove the skewness? Why to take care for the skewness? Because if you do not remove the skewness from your data and then if you pass the data as input to the machine learning technology or machine learning algorithm, you will be able to create a model, but that model is going to be overfitted model. Now, what do you mean by overfitted model? Overfitted model is the model which is going to give you, it's like suppose the you have created a prediction model which is predicting the share market price, for example, right, based on some observation, based on some variables. So for training data, that model suppose it is giving you 95% of accuracy, but for testing data or for in real time it is giving you the accuracy as 60%, 65%, 70%. That means accuracy for testing data is very much less. In case of testing data, the accuracy is very much less as compared to training data. That type of model is called as overfitted model. What is testing data? What is training data? That we will talk about. Okay, so that's why one need to take care for this skewness, and this distribution plot shows us the skewness in the data, right? Yes, let me tell you one more thing. If anyone any doubt in between, just let me know. Okay, you can stop me anytime. You can unmute yourself. I have given the access. I want everyone to understand this particular thing, and let me know if you people are already aware about it, or you are already very much aware about it, and you are already covered. Maybe something like that. You just let me know. Okay. So that is the basic purpose why one needs to know about distribution plot. Okay. Now Here you can see, yes, there is some skewness actually. So this is showing us simple distribution. Similarly, I can go for any other column, and then I can check the distribution of that particular column. For example, tip. Suppose if I want to know what how the tips data set is how the tip column is distributed in tips data set. See, what is the name of the column? The name of the column is tip. So in the tips data set, this is the column, right? This one, this is what data set. Now I want to understand how this particular thing, how this data set is distributed. So what I will do is SNS.dist plot for the tip data set. I'm doing it. Earlier I done it for total bill. Now see, this is also somewhat in normalized format, but yes, there is some skewness and we need to take care for that, right? So this is a simple distribution plot. Now in case of this particular command, you got a lot of options. For example, suppose if I go here and suppose if I do not want this particular line, this particular curve I do not want. So yes, you have option. What you can do is you can make use of KDE, kernel density estimation. Let me tell you, this KDE is actually, it stands for kernel density estimation. We'll be talking about it in algorithms, kernel density estimation. So if I do not want this type of a curve, so yes, I can go and I can make use of KDE is equal to false. Just make KDE is equal to false, and then you will see that obviously this f should be enough for this. Now you will see this type of a distribution. Okay, Ramawa is saying unable to load dataset error. Get address information failed. Ramawa, can you just unmute yourself and can you share your screen? I will tell you what to do. Can you just share your screen? Ramawa, are you there? You can unmute yourself, no problem. Okay. Let me check. You cannot unmute yourself. Just a minute. Okay, now check. Just unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So can you share your screen?
No, sir. I have a lecture on mobile and.
Okay. So see, what you need to do is first of all check whether this command is running in your case or not. Is it running?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now just type SNS, then dot and press tab button. Are you able to see a lot of methods?
SNS dot.
SNS dot LO, just type LO starting character and then press tab button.
No. Huh.
Maybe it takes some time, depends on the memory of your machine, right? Are you able to see load underscore dataset?
Yes.
Now in this parenthesis, just type tips in single quote. Type tips in single quote. You should be able to see the dataset.
No, sir.
Yes?
No.
What it is showing?
Same.
It should show you the dataset actually. Unable to load dataset. Error, it address information failed. See, if this one is running, you should be able to see the dataset. What? Any other person tried?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. I tried and it is running.
It is running, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ramawa, it
सर
should.
इथे error दाखवतो.
Okay, can anyone share the screen? Those who are getting error, can anyone share the screen? Let me know. I will give the access. Just share your screen. I will let you know what to do. Anyone who is getting error. Ramawa, see, if you are able to run this one, then you should be able to see.
I will try, sir, again after.
So you should not get that kind of error. See, this is currently running, right? There should not be, see, there should not be a star here. Okay, if it is a star, it means it is still running.
I run it 12 times, sir.
You ran it?
Yes, sir. And it's successfully run.
Okay, then still it is not, you are not able to see this one.
Yes.
How come? Maybe uh, what we can do in that case? What is that? What is that error? Can I just read it once again? What error you are getting?
URL open error. Get address info failed.
URL open. Just check this single quote. Have you given it correctly? Have you completed a single quote or not?
Yes, completed.
Then there should not be any problem.
Sir, I got the same error, but then I Conda install Cborn again, and after this, I didn't get the error.
See, obviously, you need to make sure whether it's installed or not. Rama, otherwise you try out this one. See, press Windows button, go to Anaconda prompt, and here you type pip install. Pip install Cborn. I hope you people are able to see black screen, right?
Yes, sir.
See this command. Or she has typed Conda install, one and the same. Pip install Cborn. So for example, if I go and if I press enter, in my case, it might show us already satisfied because it's already there. But why I did not ask you people to do this? Because by default in Anaconda, Cborn is also by default present. See, in my case, it is showing a requirement already satisfied. This is the way we install the packages. Right? At the start, I started with these things only. So just check in your case, Ramava, and just let me know if you get the.
Yes, sir. Yes, I will.
Or otherwise, just take this photo of that and just WhatsApp me. No problem.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Anyway, I hope that's not a big thing. It will be short. I hope other people are also trying out the things. Right. So you can see that here this curve is not present. I am able to just remove that one here. Right. For example, now you can check in this particular plot. There are beans. See, this is called as a bean. These are all the beans. So what if I want to have this kind of beans for each and every value? So yes, that's also possible. I will just try to copy the same command and I will run it here with one more argument in it here, and that is nothing but beans. Now, how many number of records we have in our data set? So 242. So for example, for each and every value I want, or maybe first of all, let me show you for example, number of beans is equal to 100. Now let me run it. Now you can check it. See, this graph and this graph is same, but now the number of beans are increased in the second one. That means here we are trying to show each and every record, or most of the records we are trying to show. Most of the records I mean to say, most of the rows, most of the values from this particular total bill column. Or otherwise, see, if I go and if I try to show you each and every value, now you will be able to see something like this. And yes, obviously, here if I go and if I try to just remove this AD, I will be able to select curve also. Now check. So it is going to give me a very detailed idea about how my data looks like, what is the distribution of my data, and where after which values there is skewness in my data. Maybe here or here something, after this one there is some skewness, after this one there is some skewness. So there are different reasons actually for getting the skewness in the data set. One of the main reasons is maybe there are NA values, missing values. Maybe there are some outliers. We talked about outliers already, right? So missing values might be there, outliers might be there. These are some of the common reasons why we get this skewness in the data set. Or maybe sometimes there are a lot of zeros in the column. So these are very common reasons why one might get skewness in the data set, right? So see, when even though we will be discussing about algorithms, but the need of the algorithm is it needs clean data, and that's why we go and we try to do something called as processing or pre-processing of the data. Many people call it as cleaning the data, or to be more precise, the name is EDA, exploratory data analysis. So always we need to do exploratory data analysis on the data before passing the data as an input to any algorithm for training the model, right? Exploratory data analysis. So whether it's a cleaning, pre-processing data, data analysis, all those things are going to come here, or even visualizations, right? So whatever we have learned till now, or whatever we are trying to learn today also, all these things are very, very useful in case of EDE, which is a prerequisite for developing any model. Okay, so see, you can check, you can actually go and you can add the number of pins, remove the number of pins, and similarly, you have a lot of options here. So if you want to see what are other options, we can check it here. See, histogram if you want, KD whether you want it or not. By default, it's a histogram, right? By default, it's a histogram. Then other options are also there. Color, by none it is, and we have been given some examples. See, histogram, KD, rough plot, fit. These are the plots which we'll be talking about the coming in the next topics actually, right? So, but yeah, here you can check. This is what we can see with the help of this distribution plot. Let's move to the next plot. See, all these options I have shown these and all these things. Let's try to talk about joint plot. Now there are different types of joint plot, and let me tell you, as you can see in the list of the joint plots, you can see scatter plot is there. RAG is nothing but regression plot, and RESID is nothing but residual plot. KDE, kernel density estimation, and hex is hexagon, right? But let me tell you, most of the times you will see people make use of scatter plot, or by default it is scatter plot only in most of the cases, right? Why it is named as joint plot? Because here there will be two plots you'll be able to see, and obviously there will be x and y dimensions, right? So joint plot allows you to basically match up two distribution plots for bivariate data. Bivariate data, just try to understand, right? So for example, x-axis is total bill and y-axis is tip. So we want to see what is the relation between them. You can go with the joint plot. Okay, and obviously there are other plots also. So there is a parameter called as kind in joint plot. So kind is equal to can be scatter plot, it can be regression, it can be residual, it can be KD, it can be hex. Let's see one by one. So for example, now again, C1 is already imported. So what I will do is SNS dot joint plot. Now it's a bivariate, right? Bivariate. It's for bivariate or bivariate graphics. That means more than one dimension you can make it of x and y. So x is equal to, now I want to give x is equal to total bill, but no total bill or T. I want to know the relation between them. But both the things are present in which data set? The data set name is tips. That's why I have written it like this. X axis is equal to what I want on x axis is total bill. Okay, so there should be a comma here. Okay, so total bill. Okay, let me check it. Total bill. The name of the column should be correct one. And y-axis I want tip. Tip is the name of the column from tips data. Suppose if I go and if I try to run this one as it is, you'll okay. What maybe syntax error might be there. Okay, I will have to check name of the column. Total underscore bill it is. I will copy this. X is equal to total underscore bill. Yes, it is right. Now see. So you can check it. This is a simple joint plot, and by default, what type of plot you are able to see in between? It's scatter plot itself, right? Now, how to interpret it? Now you can see, you can easily notice the relationship between total bill and tip with the help of this joint plot. So you can see that on x-axis we have total bill, on y-axis we have tip. Now, what is the relation between them? So you can see that as and when total bill increase, tip is also going to increase, and it's common thing, right? If you go to the restaurant, if you visit the restaurant, right? Suppose if you go and if you try to visit the restaurant, maybe you might be 10 people suppose. So obviously the amount for the bill will be more. So there's a more chance that you are going to give some tip to the waiter. So that's what the relationship is. So it is somewhat linear, right? And again, one more point is that between 10 and 20 or 10 and 25, something like that, you will see most of the data points are between 10 and 20. That means more people they generated the bill between $10 and $20. Whosoever visits the restaurant. So the scatter plot is showing you that particular relationship. Now, Again, it's called a joint plot because you have scatter plot and you have this plot also. That's why it's a joint plot. Now, what you can understand from this particular plot? Again, same thing you can understand from this plot also. So you can check it here. Here, this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. So between 10 and 20, something like here, there are a lot of values here. One and the same thing, right? Or otherwise, if you want to understand this particular plot also, right? This is also showing the same thing. So this will be tip suppose, this will be total bill. So you can see that what is the range of the tip most of the time which is given. So you can see between 2 and 4. Most of the people give the tip between $2 and $4 most of the times, something like this, right? So this is a simple example of a joint plot. Again, in case of a joint plot, you have a lot of options available. We will try to explore them one by one. See, by default, in my case, if you see, I did not return kind equal to scatter. By default, it is scatter only. See, I did not mention anything. So why? Because by default, it's scatter. From where I came to know, so just go here, press shift tab, and by default, you will see kind equal to scatter. That's why there is no need to mention it. But again, there are other options instead of scatter plot which you can make use of. For example, if I go and if I try to write down the same command here, data is equal to tips, and let me use this parameter kind equal to. So kind equal to, maybe suppose hexagon is there, right? So if I try to use hex and then run it, you will be able to see the same relationship. But this time you will, instead of those markers, now you will be able to see hexagons. And you can again say here between 10 and 20 the hexagons are darker. Why is it so? Same reason. Most of the people they generated the bill between 10 and 20. And if you talk about the relationship between total bill and tip, again you will see that the relationship is somewhat linear. Right? It means as and when total will increase, that there is a chance that tip is also going to increase. So this is a simple hexagon. You can check kind equal to hex. Or otherwise, we have other options also. Instead of this kind equal to hexagon or scatter, we can make use of, I think there is KD here, so right? KD. If I go to run it, I will be able to see this KDE plot. Now, how you can interpret this KDE plot? So here also you can see that again between 10 and 20, this portion is more darker. That means between 10 and 20, most of the people they generate the bill, right? So that is most of the data points are between 10 and 20. Only. Most of the values in total bill column are between 10 and 20. Okay, this is what something you can interpret with the help of this particular plot. Or most of the values which are repeated are between 10 and 20 only, right? And again, if you look at the joint plot, you can see the same thing. You will be able to see the distribution also, right? And I think there is one more kind is equal to, let me check which are the other options available. So if I go and if I have to see some of the examples, so let me check. If I want to see what are the different options available for kind, so maybe generally they give examples here. Let's try to check if we have something else other than scatter plot or hex plot or maybe KDE. See, kind is equal to hex, you can make use of. Or let me directly go to the parameter itself. Here you'll be able to see kind parameter. See this one. Scatter plot. Regression is also there. Residual KDE and hex. KDE and hex we have tried out. Just let's try to make use of REG and residual. Suppose if I go and try to make use of kind is equal to regression plot. So regression plot, we'll be talking about regression plot in detail when we will start with the first algorithm, that is linear regression. So it is going to look like something like this. So this line, whatever you are able to see, you might be knowing that this line is called as line of best fit. And this is the line which we are going to make use of a linear regression for prediction, for creating the prediction model. Line of best fit. I am able to see this particular line because I changed the kind to kind is equal to regression. REG means regression. Okay. And similarly, we have one more plot, and that is nothing but residual. So again, we will be talking about residual term in regression algorithm itself. So RESID. But always remember, residual. The meaning of the word residual is error. Residual is nothing but error. Remember this. For now, just if you are If you have seen this particular word first time, just remember that residual is nothing but error. Otherwise, if you are already aware about it, no problem. So yes, it's also going to show me something similar, but it will be about error. See this particular thing, right? So tip and total bill. So as I said, residual is nothing but error. So we'll be talking about the residual in linear regression. Line of best fit, we will talk about in linear regression. And the residuals or errors, we will talk about in linear regression. So obviously, we will make use of the equation of a straight line. We will see the theory part, and then we will go and we will implement it. Okay. So here we have discussed this because in case of distribution plot, we have those options. In case of joint plot specifically, we have all these options. So this is what I have shown you till now. Let's try to discuss about one of the important plots with the help of Seaborn, and that is nothing but pair plot. Now, why is it important? So pair plot is important because pair plot is going to show you the relationship of every column opposite every other column. And by default, it is going to take into consideration the columns which are in numeric format. So it does not mean that we cannot visualize the columns which are not in numeric format. We can visualize those columns also, those variables also, but we need to make use of some parameters. See, you can check it. Pair plot will plot pairwise relationships across an entire data frame, that is data, but for numerical columns by default. And it supports a color hue argument for categorical columns. So if it's a categorical data like sex, male and female, like pass or fail, like result, right? So for all these kind of columns, you can make use of this hue parameter. Wherever there is a categorical data, gender, male, female, right? Whether the patient is affected by some disease or not, yes, no. So you can make use of pair plot for that type of data also, but you need to make use of a parameter called as HUE. We will see that. Let me first of all plot a pair plot for our data set. Tips is the data set which we have imported. So what I will do is SNS dot pair plot. Here I don't have to give any x for x value or y value. I will directly go and try to give the name of the data set itself, a complete data set. Now it is up to pair plot to decide which is numerical column, and then it is going to take into consideration. So let me see first. Let me show you before that. Let me show you which are the numerical columns in our data set. So if you see in the tip data set, total bill is a numerical column, tip is a numerical column, and size is a numerical column. So by default, pair plot is going to consider only these three columns: total bill, tip, and size. Let me show you here. I will run it. Now I am able to see pair plot. But if you carefully look at this pair plot, you will see that this pair plot is giving us the relationship between three columns only out of 7 from the data set tips. Which are the three columns? Total bill, tip, and size. Why it has taken only 3? Because these are in numeric, right? They are in numeric format. Again, what you can interpret from this particular pair plot, total bill and size. If I want to see the relationship, you can see the total bill and size. So you can see that if the size is, if only one person is coming, obviously total bill value is very less. Two people are coming. If two people are coming, total bill size total bill is highest. Total bill is near to 40. Or we can notice that most of the times people prefer coming in groups, maybe as a couple or 3 or 4 people as a group. There are very few people who are coming as individuals. So that's the relationship between total bill and size. Similarly, size and tip. And similarly, size and size, same column, right? Or otherwise, you can look at the graphs in another way also, whatever you want. Suppose I want to see the relationship between total bill and mail. Suppose this one. Just take this particular graph. Total bill and tip I want to see the relationship. Same thing it is showing, right? Or tip and tip, you will get this graph. Or tip and size, you will get this graph, right? So the point to note down here is that by default it is showing us this kind of a relationship only for numerical data. But what if I want it for the data which is in categorical format, right? Like gender, male, female. So here, what I can do is I can make use of a parameter called as hue. So SNS.pair plot tips data set, and here we can make the view parameter. Suppose I want to make the view parameter, and here I want to give, there is a column called as time, dinner or lunch. I want to see what time people prefer, whether they prefer dinner time or lunch time, and accordingly I want to see this relationship. Now see, that means we are trying to consider the categorical data also. What are the values for time? Only two values, dinner and lunch. Let me run it. Now see, you can check it. Now we are able to see the visualization in more detail. We can understand the things in more detail with the help of this kind of data. For example, if you check, suppose, see, if you want to know same thing, suppose if you want to know what's the relationship between tip and total bill here, you can see dinner time is shown with orange color and lunch time is shown with blue color. That means you can notice that most of the people prefer visiting the restaurant at the time of dinner as compared to lunch. Okay. And again, by default, we are able to see these colors, orange and blue. You can change those colors. We have some options, right? But try to understand, this is because of the hue parameter. So always remember, this hue parameter allows us to give any categorical value. Suppose I want to check who actually gives more tip or who generates more bill, male or female. So I will use hue parameter as like male or female. Let me run it. Now you can check here. So you can see that in this case, blue is denoting male and orange is denoting female, right? So you can see that blue markers are more. That means male prefer visiting the restaurant as compared to female. That means there are male who visited the restaurant most of the times as compared to female, right? So like this, even you can go and you can make use of other categorical columns also. Suppose if I want to check which are the columns which are present in my data set, so I can go and enter tips dot columns. You can see this is the categorical data. Smoker. Let's try to see whether smoker prefer visiting the restaurant or non-smoker prefer visiting the restaurant. So let's try to give view parameter as smoker and then let's check. Now see, you can check smoker blue and non-smoker orange. So more or less it seems that the number is same, something similar, right? But again we can go and we can check all these relationships in detail. So try to understand, we have just used a hue parameter. Suppose I want to change the colors. So yes, you can go and you can change the colors and you can make use of something called as, okay, CMap, I think it will not work. So we have different palettes. We call it as palette. So if I go here and if I try to make use of a palette argument, okay. Suppose let me make use of a palette called as rainbow. Let me check if it runs or not. Okay, spelling is wrong. PALETTE. It should be L. Okay, PALETTE. It should be. Now it will run. Now see, the color is changed. This is just a fancy thing I can say. So it's somewhat faint color now. Let me see. There is something called a set one. Now see, this color is changed. Okay, so these are just the fancy things which are going to help you to have a graph according to your need. So this is nothing but pair plot. Let's move to the next one and let's see. Toolworm is also one palette you can make this one. Okay. Let's try to talk about rug plot. Rug plot is very simple actually. A rug plot is simply going to draw the lines for each and every data point. For example, suppose if I go here, SNS dot rug plot is the command. Okay. So here what I will do is, suppose I want to know from tips, I want to know about total bill. So how is the distribution of total bill column from tips? Yes, rug plot is going to help in that. So it is simply going to draw line for each and every record. So you can see that between 10 and 20 there are more lines and which are overwriting each other. That's why there is a darker region here you can see as compared to this one. That means most of the people they generate the bill between 10 and 20 or 10 20, the values between 10 and 20 are repeated more number of times. Simple rough plot is nothing but what? It is simply going to draw a line for each and every record. That's what rough plot is. Okay. So KDE, what you can do is actually you can combine KDE plot and rough plot. So whatever the code you are able to see, it's a simple code. Do not worry about this. What I have done is, this is just for the explanation part. Okay. For each and every rough plot, we have drawn a single KDE, and for that we have written this particular code. So don't worry about this particular code. This is just for you to understand. Otherwise, you will feel that it's a very huge code, right? It's not like that. So just to type, just to show you, for each and every rough or this line, we are trying to plot a KDE plot, because at the end we want to combine both of them, and we want to show something like this one. See, what am I doing is, see, this particular command. Let's move to this one. Now what you can see is, first of all we are trying to plot KDE plot for total bin, and then we are trying to plot rough plot. So here we are trying to make use of two plots. Even if you have used one, then also no problem. But here these two lines are going to do what? It is going to help you to see the relationship, to understand the relationship between rough plot and KDE plot. See, because either you go with the rough plot or KDE plot is one the same. Just try to understand what the relationship between them. So as you can notice that I told you earlier that this height is more. Why? Because the values between 10 and 20 are repeated most of the times. And why this is a darker region? Because these values are repeated more number of times. So if it is darker, that's why this height is more. Or you can go vice versa also. One and the same. So I mean to say rough plot also shows the same thing. Right? So rough plot or distribution plot. But many times people prefer using distribution plot. So here what I have done is just try to plot both the graphs and just try to show the relationship between them. Okay. See, you people don't have to type each and everything. This file is already shared with you. Okay. If you want to run it, you can go and just try to copy paste the command in new notebook. Always try to run the things in new notebook, because whatever I have shared, these things are going to be required for practice. You will require it, because everything is systematically written in that case. If you try to make the changes in the IPv files which I have shared, then you yourself will be confused for some time, right? That's why just make it a habit that whatever the things you want to try it out in untitled or new notebooks. Do not try out the things in the notes which I have shared. Right? Okay, so the same thing we are trying to do it for tip dataset also, or a tip column also, whatever we are doing for this one. Okay, so this is about the first type of plots in case of Seaborn, and that is nothing but distribution plots. Let me move to the next one, that is nothing but categorical plots. Okay, again, in case of categorical plots, here we are going to talk about different plots, right? So for example, there is a plot called as fact plot, box plot, violin plot, strip plot, swarm plot, bar plot, and count plot. Again, this list is not limited to these types of plots only. There are more number of plots you will come across, right? But if you are aware about all these things, you will be in a position to easily make some sense about other graphs. See, even though I will be talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plots here, let me tell you what we people generally make use of most of the times. Box plot, yes, this is what we use many times. Then there's a bar plot, count plot we make use of many times, and sometimes we use factor plot also. So only these 4 plots we need most of the times. Making use of a violin plot, strip plot, swap plot, it all depends on the user. But yes, they are also good. That's why everything is actually included here. Okay. So let's try to start our discussion with categorical data plots, and let's try to understand the aspects which are related to that. Again, here also I am going to make use of the same data set. In our case, in this untitled notebook, I have already imported that particular data set. That's why there is no need to fire this particular command or this command. Okay. Let's move to the bar plot and count plot. Bar plot and count plot, if you talk about, these are very similar plots. They allow you to get aggregate data. Whenever I say aggregate, what does it mean? Mean, max, right? Average value, sum, all those. So they allow you to get aggregate data of a categorical feature in your data. Categorical means, always remember, categorical data, right? Gender, male, female. It's an example of a categorical data. Bar plot is a general plot that allows you to aggregate the categorical data based on some functions. And by default, always remember, by default, bar plot helps you to find out the mean. Bar plot is going to be plotted by default on mean. Mean is nothing but average. Let's try to go and try to plot a simple bar plot here for these two columns. Okay. So we want to see who generated the more total bill. Is it female or male? So sns.barplot is the command. Okay, my data is tips x column if I want to give. So x is equal to, suppose on x axis I want male female, and on y axis I want total bill. So total underscore bill is the name of the column. Let's see this particular thing. Now you can check it. This is a simple bar plot, right? So what you can notice from this one, so you can check that on the x-axis we have, it is showing us it's a male or a female, right? And on the y-axis it is talking about total bill. You can see that it is male who generated more total bill as compared to female. But see what I told you, by default bar plot is going to make use of what? Mean. So it is talking about, this is nothing but the mean total bill, average. So the average of the total bill generated by male is near about, suppose 20 to 23, and average of the total bill generated by female is near about 18, for example. That means male's average total bill is more as compared to female's average total bill. Okay, this is nothing but average total bill, because I told you by default it's going to be what? Mean or the average. Suppose if you want to know same thing, but this time instead of average you want to make use of something else, maybe sum of the total bill. So yes, that also you can make use of, but by default it's going to be average or the, see, it is called an estimator. So by default the estimator is always mean, but if I want to go and if I want to change the estimator to sum, yes I can do that. Let me check. Now see, the sum of the total bill generated by male is very much high as compared to sum of the total bill generated by female. It means what? It's a good analysis for a restaurant owner. That means he can understand that male prefer more visiting the restaurant, or it can be seen that male has generated more bill as compared to female, right? So see, near about more than $3,000, and this is near about $1,500. So almost double, you can say, right? So yes, you can actually do that. Suppose I want to know who generated the maximum total bill. Is it female or a male? Yes, I can find out that with the help of a bar plot. So maybe I can go and I can try to make use of max. Let's run it. Now see, again it's male who generated the maximum total bill, and it was $50. Female's maximum total bill was near about $45 for that. And similarly, I can go and I can check what is the minimum total bill generated by male and female. So min and then run. You can see that minimum total bill generated by male was above $7 and female was $3. Right? So whenever there are some aggregate operations you want to do, you can make use of this categorical plot, that is bar plot. Okay, that's what is actually shown here in this case. So, and if you want to know the same thing according to standard deviation, yes, that's also possible. Standard deviation, obviously for standard deviation we are going to need numpy. I will just import numpy as I did not import it. So import numpy as np and then run it, and then I will just try to use the same command, but instead of this sum, average, mean, max, suppose I want the relationship according to standard deviation. So now male and female, you can check that standard deviation for male in case of total bill is more as compared to standard deviation for female. This is how you can make your bar plot. Let me check any other thing. Okay, that's it about bar plot. And again, you have a lot of options to explore, but these are some of the basic and important. Let's try to move to the next important plot, and that is nothing but count plot. So this is essentially the same as bar plot, except the estimator is explicitly counting the number of occurrences. So the name itself suggests you what is count plot. Okay, so it is going to give what? It is going to give simply the count. Suppose SNS dot, this is the command, SNS dot count. So x is equal to, let's suppose do the regular thing for male and female, and my data is what? Data is nothing but the data frame name tips. Now you can see that count of people who visit the restaurant, right? In male and female. So count of the male who visit the restaurant is more as compared to count of the female who visit the restaurant, right? Suppose instead of this one, let me make this one as time, dinner or lunch. I want to see what time people prefer visiting the restaurant. So you can see people prefer visiting the restaurant at the time of dinner as compared to at the time of lunch, right? Because now that is time. Similarly, what else? What is another categorical data we have is, I think, day. So on which day people prefer. So see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So here you can check that count plot has shown us the count of the people visiting the restaurant on different days. So we have these four values: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can see that on the weekend people prefer visiting the restaurant as compared to weekdays. So this is a very good analysis, because this is going to be very useful for the restaurant owner. Restaurant owner can just concentrate more on weekdays, or restaurant owner will try to improve the services at the weekdays as compared to at the weekends as compared to weekdays, I can say, right? So like this, you can have a lot of things with the help of count plot. That's why I said count plot is again very useful. Though it's easy, but yeah, it's very important. Now let's try to talk about box plot and violin plot. If you remember, somewhere we talked about box plot in case of pandas package, or matplotlib, not pandas, matplotlib we talked about. So at that time, I think I have talked about the explanation about box plot. But still, here we will try to see if there is some doubt. Okay. Box plot and violin plot. Box plots and violin plots are used to show the distribution of categorical data. A box plot, or it is also called as box and whisker plot, shows the distribution of quantitative data in a way that facilitates comparison between variables or across levels of categorical data. So you will get the meaning of this one once you see the box plot and understand each and everything about that. So it is called as box and whisker plot. The box shows the quartiles: 25 percentile, 50 percentile, 75 percentile. They are called as quartiles. So quartile divides data into 4 parts. Percentile divides data into 99 parts. Right? I hope you are aware about that. The box shows the quartiles of the dataset, while the whiskers extend to show the rest of the distribution, except for the points that are determined to be outliers, using a method that is function of the interquartile range. So interquartile range is actually Q3 minus Q1. That is 75 percentile minus 25 percentile is called as interquartile range. Let me show you a simple box plot and then explain what actually it is. So as they have said that it shows the distribution of categorical data. So let's try to see the relationship between this day column and total will column with the help of box plot. And let me tell you, box plot is one of the most important plots we make use of in visualization. So SNS dot okay, IQR interquartile range is actually Ramowa. It is Q3 minus Q1. Q3 minus Q1.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So SNS dot box and whisker plot. So this is the method. We make use of SNS dot box plot. Now here what we want, on x-axis we want suppose day, and on the y-axis we want total bill. So the name of the column is total underscore. So that's what I'll be giving you. Okay, and obviously we need to mention the data set name. So in this case, the data set name is tips. Let's try to plot it out. Now see, this is what the box and whisker plot is. Now, what can you interpret, or how can you interpret this particular box and whisker plot? So I think when we we have seen this particular thing in case of Matplotlib. At that time I told you, see, let's suppose this one. What is this? This is 0 percentile. I am saying percentile, and we already talked about what is the meaning of the term percentile. 0 percentile. This is 25 percentile. Okay, this is 50 percentile. This represents 75 percentile, and this one is 100 percentile. So 25 percentile is nothing but what? It is called as quartile 1. This is called as quartile 2, and this is called as quartile 3. And so that's why IQR, interquartile range, is equal to Q3 minus Q1. Maybe, I hope you might have come across this particular term earlier. Now, this is nothing but maximum value, and this is nothing but minimum value. This one is actually nothing but median. Okay, and what are these things? What are these things? They are nothing but the outliers. And we talked about outliers already, right? If you remember the example of, right, that example, I think last time also I told you. People working in your company, one person is having very high salary. So that outlier value is drastically going to change the average. So that means there are some outlier values in case of total bill column on Sunday. That means on Sunday and Saturday, there are some people who are generating the bills not similar to the general range. So there are some outlier values. So I want you people to understand what is the meaning of all these things, right? So if I say 25 percentile of total bill on Sunday is $20. So this one we have already discussed, right? I hope everyone understand this meaning. If someone has any doubt, just you can ask me. Okay? I already discussed this. So just remember, this is the meaning of this box and discuss word. So how can you interpret? What can you interpret from this one? So you can interpret a lot of things. For example, you can say that most of the people they prefer Sunday and Saturday. Okay, you can see that maximum total bill generated on Sunday and Saturday only. Right? And this range is more. Many people prefer visiting the restaurant on weekdays. See, I already told you, if you people are aware about all these things, just let me know. Do not leave. If you are aware about all these things, just let me know in the chat box that sir, we are aware about it. I will not waste your time, right? But I am just trying to go with the flow. Whatever I started with, I am just trying to end up the things which I told you. So don't do it like this. Do not live. If you are already aware about it, there are a lot of things to be discussed. Just let me know, okay? Because if you people are living that, I get a doubt whether you people are getting or not getting. Just straightforward tell me you already know this. I will try to start with the next topic, or maybe directly move to the project. Maybe directly move to the linear regression, logistic regression, algorithms, whatever. And if you know that thing also, let me know that. We have other things. Just do not do it like this, because otherwise it confuses me. Any doubt, anyone? Any doubt? Okay, Eunice.
No, sir.
Yeah. Why am I telling you this thing in between? Because it should not happen that I am only talking continuously and then. So it feels like something boring. Right? So I also do not want that kind of. I want you to understand these things and make use of these things. Maybe in your sponsorships or whatever, maybe for your job, something like that. Right? Because at the end of the day, you will see yourself creating some projects, and even you will see that you are deploying those projects on the cloud. I want you to take that particular note. See, you already have, obviously, you have some basic things in your syllabus. Anyway, no problem. But once you go and once you create some applications, at that time, definitely, automatically, you yourself will get interest in this field. And let me tell you, even if you are thinking about job perspective, this is really good, because everything is under AI only. Machine learning is a part of AI. Okay. Even I will be talking about all those terms: machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, natural language processing, data science. What is the difference between them? And then only I will move to these things. Types of learning, basic definitions. In that, I think we have discussed. some differences between all those stuff, right? So the point is that yeah, it all these things help you. So yeah, any doubt? I think someone has raised the hand in between. Any doubt?
No, sir, it's by mistake.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that is about box plot. So like this, you can have again. See, I have given the day and total bill example here. You can go and you can try it out for other things. Similarly, here also some fancy things are available, like palette. We already talked about palette. So if you want to have some another color, which is set one. So this is another color. I think you have. There are a lot of different options. This is just going to change the colors. Nothing else. Okay. So yes, that's a box and whisker plot. Yeah. Now you have option called as orient. Orient equal to h means it is just going to look like this, horizontal. That's it. Okay. Then okay, data tips. Hue parameter. See, hue you can make use of in your box and whisker plot. This is something very useful. For example, now what am I doing? On x-axis day, on y-axis total day. So this is what I am able to see. But what if I want to go and I want to check in detail? So for example, u is equal to maybe.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Is it? Okay, just a minute. Am I audible now? Am I audible?
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
just keep the mic little bit. So see, now just to understand the data in more detail, we can make use of this parameter for categorical data. For example, we have a categorical data, like day is a categorical column, sex, male, female is a categorical column, right? So yes, definitely we can make use of that. Maybe let me suppose make use of this particular categorical column, smoker, yes or no. I want to see. I came to know that okay, people prefer visiting the restaurant on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. But I want to check who prefer more. Is it smoker or non-smoker? So I can go and I can make use of G parameter. Let's run this. Now you can check it. See. So you can see that on weekends, it's smoker who prefer visiting the restaurant more as compared to non-smoker. See, smoker, non-smoker. This is non-smoker, non-smoker. So on the weekend, it's smoker people who prefer visiting the restaurant on weekend. But on weekdays, if you check, it's non-smoker. Let's see Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Thursday. Like this, you can have number of analysis, or you can go and you can try to check the relationship between different parameters. Similarly, if I go and if I try to change the shape parameter to something else, suppose who prefer visiting the restaurant? Is it male or female? Let's run this. Now you can check. You can check this particular thing. So on Thursday and Friday, it's male who prefer visiting the restaurant as compared to female, male. But on weekends, more or less, both of them they are same. On weekends, you can check it, right? So yes, this is how you can go and you can see the relationships. Let's move to the next one now. Violin plot. See, whatever violin plot can do, that thing can be done by box and whisker plot. Okay, but still, in some cases, it's useful. That's what we will talk about. Violin plot. A violin plot plays a similar role as box and whisker plot. It shows distribution of quantitative data across several levels of one or more categorical variables, such as those distributions can be compared. Unlike box plot, in which all of the plot components correspond to actual data points, violin plot features a kernel density estimation. The basic point here is that violin plot helps you to understand the distribution of the data, right? For example, day and total bill. Let's try to plot a violin plot for this. SMS dot violin plot. So on x-axis, suppose I want day. Same thing we are trying to make it up here. On y-axis, we have total bill here. Okay? Total underscore bill. And obviously, data set will mention data is equal to the name of the data is tips. Now this is what I'm going for. So what it is showing me, how I can go and I can interpret it. So yes, you can see that in case of violin plot, see it is showing you this distribution. So that distance is more in the range of 10 to 20 only. It means what? It means most of the people generate the bill between 10 and 20. And obviously, this thing is showing you that many people they prefer visiting the restaurant on Saturday and Sunday. Or most of the bills which are generated, most of them they are generated on Saturday and Sunday. But the one important point about violin plot is that yes, it helps you to understand the distribution, right? So most of the most of the times people generate the bill between 10 and $20. That's what it is actually showing. And again, in case of violin plot, we have different options here which are shown, like this palette and all those things. They are also available. Okay. And yeah, few parameters also available if you just go and separate out the things according to some categorical data. So maybe I want to check male, female. This is what you can actually do, right? Or otherwise, if we have some operation, some methods here. For example, see, many times what's going to happen is there is a problem with this kind of a graph. If you go and if you try to plot it, the problem is that see here they are touching one another. Here they are touching one another. So if this distribution is lot of more distribution if it is there, then it might happen that the graphs might not be visible, or it might not be you will not be able to see the correct relationship. So feasibility will not be there in terms of visualization. So for that we have some parameters. What you can do is you can make use of some parameters here just to make use of the space which is available. So there is something called as this one, split. Split is equal to false. Let's try to make use of that particular thing, and let's see what happens with the end of this. You will get what I am trying to talk about. If I go and if I try to make use of this as true, now see, same thing you are able to see, but in this way. So it's a good utilization of the space which is available for visualization, right? So these are some of the things. Again, it is also showing the same thing, whatever this graph was showing, but now it is just because of split equal to true. Okay, let's move to the next one. That is the thing about strip plot and swarm plot. Again, whatever strip plot and swarm plot can show, that particular thing can be shown with the help of plots and scatter plot. But whenever we talk about strip plot and swarm plot, they are nothing but scatter plot only. Let me show you. See, for example, this one. SNS dot strip plot between day and total bill. Okay, so you will get a scatter plot only, but that scatter plot will be like this. Now, why am I able to see this kind of a scatter plot here? So I just need to go and change the parameter here. If you so in this case there is no overlapping actually. There is no overlapping of the markers. So there is a parameter called as jitter. Jitter equal to, let me make it as false and then run it. Now see, you are able to see the strip plot like this. So why you are able to see something like this? Because now the markers are overlapping each other. These markers are overlapping each other. So for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, these are the total bills. But as they are overlapping each other, that's why you are able to see something like this. But what if I do not want them to overlap each other? I can make use of this jitter parameter and then I can go and I can make use of true. Then you will see the same thing, but now they are separate. So it's because of jitter. Again, it is also showing you the distribution itself, and it is showing you the values, right? Total bill. So Saturday and Sunday, these are the 2 days on which more number of values are there in case of total bill. Right? And again, palette and all those things again they are available. So jitter is something important here in case of split plot. Okay. What else? U parameter also you can make use of. So let me show you a simple example here. Suppose I want to check male and female, for male and female amount. So see, you can check, right? But again, many times you will see that there's a lot of overlap in this kind of a graph. That's why people do not make use of this type of a plot many times. That's a strip plot. What else is strip plot? Split. Now, as I told you, there is a drawback that there is overlap. But if you do not want to show the overlap, if you are using U parameter, so you can make use of something called as split. So what will happen in this particular graph? So let me show you the comparison between this one and the next graph. See, in this there is an overlap as we have used u parameter is equal to set, that is male and female. What if I do not want overlap like this, like male and female, there is an overlap. What if I want to separate them? So I can go and I can make use of this particular parameter split. Split is equal to true. SPLT parameter. Okay, it is just giving me warning that now this split name they have changed to dots. See, it is giving me warning that the split name, the split parameter has been renamed to dots. So it is giving me the output, but still it is showing me warning. What if I do not want this warning? I will go and I will make it as dots equal to true, and now you will not be able to see the warning. So same graph, but now it is separated according to the Q parameter, male and female. Right, so that is because of this split or dots. Earlier it was called as split. Okay, so what else? Swarm plot. Let's try to talk about swarm plot. So SNS.swarm plot is the method which we make use of for plotting the swarm plot. Now you can see x-axis day, y-axis total bill, data days. This is called as swarm plot. So if I go, so again, swarm plot also helps you to have idea about distribution of the data. You can check it. Why? See, you can see more clearly. You can see that most of the total bills which are generated are between 10, 20 or 10, 20 or 10 or 25, for example. See, in this range. So this is nothing but what near to 20. So most of them. So this is nothing but distribution. It shows you distribution. This shows you distribution. Swarm plot. But at the end of the day, it is also a scatter plot. Okay. So basic use of swarm plot is nothing but for distribution. Now you have operations, you have different parameters like Q parameter, right? Then split is also there in case of swarm plot. Let me give one example here. See, now you will be able to understand this particular term. I hope you will be able to understand each and every parameter from this particular swarm plot. See, what are we using? X-axis, Y-axis, U parameter, data, palette, and split. Split equal to true. So you will be able to see swarm plot here. So instead of split, let's go make it as dots. Now see, according to the split and according to the palette and the U parameter, you are able to see the result. So you can see that male and female, from male and female who generated the more bill in the range of 10 to 20, you can see that it's male. Okay. And yeah, obviously there are other things also one can interpret from this particular graph. It's not like that you can interpret only that. Right? So it's a simple example of a swarm plot. Even you can go and you can combine swarm plot and violin plot. Violin plot, if you remember, we have seen violin plot. This is called as violin plot. You can have a swarm plot inside a violin plot. That's also possible. So many times people prefer making use of these two plots like this. First of all, what are we doing here? We are trying to plot a violin plot, and then we are trying to plot swarm plot. See, it's like we are just trying to combine the components. This is nothing but what violin plot between tip and day, right? And this is nothing but what swarm plot between again tip and day. So if I go and if I run it, you'll be able to see something like this. So tip and day. So that's why I said that in case of swarm plot, these things, whatever you are able to see, these are nothing but what? These are nothing but the distribution of the data. Many values. So this value is nothing but which is repeated many number of times. Okay. So yes, obviously this is related to tip only, but you can see that between 2 and 4, most of the values are repeated. So that means people prefer giving the tips between $2 and $4 most of the times. And again, on the basis of days, you can find out which day they prefer giving. So on Saturday and Sunday, most of the people they prefer giving the tips, or most of the people give the tips on Saturday and Sunday. That is weekend. Okay, so that is nothing but swarm plot and violin plot. That's what you can notice. Yeah, now factor plot is something also important. Now I think they have changed the name of the factor plot to cat plot. Let me check it. See, what is this factor plot? X, Y, data, and kind is equal to anything you can be. Let me show it to you. What am I trying to talk about is SNS dot factor plot. Okay, X is equal to some value I am going to make use of, or let me check categorical data or what. Okay, categorical data only. So same example I will be making use of, and Y is equal to total bill. underscore filter. And obviously this is for the data tips. Now if I do not mention anything and if I try to plot the graph, I'll be getting something like this. So what are they saying is, note that kind in fact plot has changed strip in cat plot. Okay, so that's what I was planning. They have changed the name to cat plot. Instead of factor plot, it is called as cat plot. Now by default, they are saying that by default it is strip plot. But here I have a parameter called as kind. Suppose this kind parameter I can do anything whatever I want. Suppose let me check which are the possible values for kind parameter. So if I go, see, estimator is by default average or mean, and kind by default is strip. But what are the other values for kind parameter if you want to see? It must be given in the help itself. Let us check that. See, it can be point, bar, strip, or swarm, or box, or violin, or box end. Let me try out this one: box, violin, or box end. Box, violin, or box end. Let's suppose try it out with box plot. Now see, you'll be able to see box plot, right? So in fact, in cat plot, you just need to give kind parameter. That's it. Let me try it out with boxing. Something like this. For that, the name box and row. Let me check. Shift tab, go here. So let's see what is the kind parameter. Okay, box n it was BOXEN. Just a spelling mistake. Now see, again this is also showing you the distribution. Where is more distribution for total thing, and it is actually telling you on the basis of gender, male and female both. Violin, let me check. Now you can see violin plot. So in cat plot, you have a lot of options. Suppose let me go and let me try to plot this simple. Let's suppose point. See, point plot is showing me something like this. For male, total bill is more as compared to female. By default, what it is finding out? By default, it is estimator is by default what? Average or the mean. See, estimator by default is average or the mean. So I mean to say, this is nothing but what this 21, whatever you are able to see. It is average bill, average of the total bill which is generated by male, and this is average of the total bill generated by female. That means one point is sure that male generated more bill as compared to female. And again, we have actually used other graphs also to understand that kind of a relationship. Right? So SN is not cat plot, or it's called as factor plot. Earlier it was called as factor plot. If you just try it out in your case, I hope you will also get the warning if you are using the latest version of the Python. Right? So this is about categorical plots. Let me move to the next topic, that is matrix plots. Matrix plots is not going to take that much of time. We will finish all these things today itself, so that in the next class I will be starting with the machine learning algorithms directly. Okay. Matrix plots. Matrix plots allow you to plot data as colored encoded matrices and can also be used to indicate clusters within the data. Now, what do you mean by cluster? Always remember, cluster is nothing but group. Clustering is nothing but grouping. Suppose I want to divide, suppose there are 60 students in your class. I want to divide those students based on their marks, right? So I want to divide them into 4 groups. So those 4, that means I am trying to form 4 clusters from there. So I meant to say cluster is nothing but group. Okay. So you have a topic actually related to clustering. That's why I just tried to discuss it here itself. There's an algorithm which we'll be discussing about, that's nothing but K-means algorithm related to clustering problems, and which they have actually mentioned in the syllabus. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I am going to load another data set. Flights. Flights is a data set which is by default present in Seaborn. So SNS dot load underscore data set, and the name of the data set is flights. Shift enter. Now you will see this particular thing: year, month, and passengers. So there are 3 columns only: year, month, and passengers, and you can see there are 144 number of rows. 3 columns, 144 number of rows. And what are the columns? What are the variables here? Year, month, and passenger. So in 1949, in the month of January, 112 passengers traveled with the flight. In 1949, in the month of Feb, 118 passengers traveled with the flight. And so this is for the year 1949, in 1950, 51, 52, 53, 4, 5, and so on till 60. So from 1941 to, from 1949 to 1960, we had this kind of a data of flights. Now we will try to understand matrix plot with the help of this particular data set. As usual, flights.head is going to show you first 5 records by record. Let's try to talk about the first matrix plot, and that is nothing but heat map. Okay, so heat map is very, very important. Heat map helps you to see the correlation between the columns present in the data set. See, suppose if you want to check, let's try to, okay, what I will do here is I will just try to create a variable called as flights. FLIGHTS flights is equal to this one. Right now, you know that this one we have flights.head. It's going to show me first 5 records. This is my flights data set. Tips we have already imported, right? Same thing. There is no need to import it once again. We have tips. Now, as we want to understand matrix plot, first matrix plot, that is equal heat map. So for heat map, I will be making use of tips data set. So there is something called as tips.corr. CORR is the method which shows us the correlation. That means one column, how it is related to another column. And obviously, it will be for numerical data itself. So total bill, tip, and size. Right. So in that case, also total bill and tip only. Because size is also something like categorical only. Because there are some repeated. So see, size they are also considered. So see, total bill, tip, and size. Total bill, tip, and size. Now what is this? This is the correlation between all the numeric columns in the data set. For example, I want to see total bill, how it is related to size. So 60% almost is related. Total bill and tip, 67% they are related. Right? This is the meaning of this. This is a correlation between all the columns. Total bill and total bill, it is 100% correlated. Right? So if I want to plot a heat map kind of a thing, I can plot the heat map with the help of this particular thing. What I can do is I can go and I can make use of seaborn.heatmap command here. And here what I can give is I can give this correlation tips.corr, and it's going to help me to plot the heat map. That means same thing, I am able to see the same correlation. It is just that I am able to see it in the form of a matrix. And that's it. And see, suppose I want to know these values also. I want to show these values also on this graph. So yes, that's possible. So what you can do is you can make use of something called as annotation. Just make annotation equal to true, and you will be able to see those values also. Right? So what you can notice here, you can see that the correlation. This is a scale. They have shown us this particular scale. So as and when the color becomes faint, that means there is more correlation. More correlation. And as and when the color is something like this, that means very, very less correlation. Right? This one, there is less correlation. 68 somewhere here. That means somewhere here. 68, maybe here somewhere here. Here there is a correlation between total bill and tip. So if you want to understand how much one column is dependent on another column, you can make use of heat map command. Okay, it is nothing but a part of a matrix process. So this is what is actually shown here: correlation, annotation. Again, you have those palette kind of a thing available here also. If you want to make use of color map, CMAP stands for color map. Suppose I want to make use of a color map. Let me check this one. Set one. Okay, set one is not working here.
Comma after true.
Okay, this is also missing, right? So let me check cool warm is working. Now let me check set one. Set one I am talking about because it shows. See, set one. Now you can check the scale. I hope everyone is able to interpret this particular plot. Okay, how to interpret? I hope you people understand. So yes, this is also something which we generally make use of many times before passing our data set to the machine learning algorithm. So remember, okay, there is something called a heat map, and which helps us to see the correlation in the form of a matrix. Now let's try to go and try to talk about flights dataset. So if I show you this flights dataset, how it looks like right now, it looks something like this. Now you can check that there are only 3 columns and number of rows are more. So what you can do in this kind of a dataset is you can see the same dataset but in different angle. You can look at this particular dataset but in different angle. For example, see, as I can see that number of rows are more. So what if I try to look at this data in some other way, in such a way that number of rows will be less. So what can you do is you can make it up something called as pivot table. So this dataset name dot pivot, pivot underscore table. Pivot underscore table is a method actually which helps us to look at the data in different angles. For example, what am I doing is, see, in our dataset we have passengers column, we have one column, and we have year column. What am I doing is I want values as passengers, index as month. Right now, what is the index? Index is year now. I want to have index as month. Okay, and then I want columns as year. So I mean to say here, if you go and if you try to make use of flights, flights is our data set. Flights dot pivot underscore table is the command. So pivot underscore table command helps you to look at the data the way you want. So what I want here is I want values. So what I want values? I want values from passengers column. So what I will do is I will just copy this particular thing, okay, and values equal to passengers I will put. That is one. Now what I want as an index? Index I want as a month column, right? That's what I have. Let me check if it is right. MONTH. Yeah, everything in lowercase. And then column. I want columns as years. Let us see the data set. Now see, same data set here, but now you can look at the data set at one place only or on only one page. You can check it. You can look at this. See, if it would have been like this, what would have happened in this case? Suppose I want to search for 1959 April. How many passengers traveled? 396. 1959 April. So to come to this particular data set, your system will have to read 122 records and then it will come to this one. 1959 April 396. But in this case, what do you want it? 1959 April. So April and 1959. So let me just highlight it. Here it will not take that much of time. So pivot kind of a table command can be used. Pivot table kind of a command can be used if there are a lot of rows. See, 396. So why to make use of this kind of thing? It helps us to increase the access speed. That's why pivot table command is there. Okay, so that's why it is again it is showing simply it is showing you the data set in the form of a table kind of thing or a matrix. Okay, so remember that pivot table. Now what I can do is for this type of data, next thing we are going to do is we are going to plot heat map. So see, this command we already run. So I'm just trying to assign that particular thing to a variable called as PV flights, whatever the name you want to give. So PV flights is equal to this, and that particular thing we are just trying to pass it as input to heat map. This is the same thing. So you'll be able to see something like this. So PV flights heat map, because heat map always needs the what you consider the input or the parameter in the form of a table or the matrix. So SNS dot heat map, PV flights, just now we have seen, we'll be able to see something like this. Now, how you can interpret this particular thing here? Now you can see that this is a scale. Now paint is nothing but what? Paint color is nothing but there is that value is more. So you can see that there is a paint color here. That means what I can say here. That means in the year 1960, most of the passengers traveled with the flights. And which month? Maybe in July, August. So you might be knowing that July, August is like holiday there in most of the foreign countries, right? So maybe that's the reason. But you can check that in 1959 and 1960, these are the 2 years where most of the passengers travel. And obviously, As 1949 is starting here, that's why this number is going to increase like this. So, and other things also you can actually notice with the help of this particular graph. So, July and August are the months in which most of the passengers traveled with the flights, or 1949, 1959, 1960 are the years we can point out here in which maximum number of passengers traveled with the flight. Okay. So yeah, even and now you can have options, different options, CMAC and all those things. Just the fancy things I can say. So differently. Suppose if I go and if I have to show you, CMAP is equal to, suppose let's use the same thing, set one. We will be able to see this graph, right? So gray color is nothing but the maximum number of passengers. You can check in the scale. And like this, you have this particular line color. I don't think that this works. Okay. Line color is white I have given, but we are not able to see that because I need to include line width. So line width is equal to 5 meters. Now see, as I have given this white line is there. I am able to see something like this. Let me make the line width as 1. Now see, you'll be able to see a proper graph. So it's like a matrix only, right? So this is the thing but hit graph. Again, same thing you can interpret. I just try to make it something. You can just change the color and all those things. See this one, highest value. That means these two. This is the year in which maximum passengers travel, and the other one. And yeah, a lot of other values. So in 1949, lowest passengers traveled in all the months, and so on. Okay. So yes, this kind of a graph also I can get. CMAP I can change. Color map, if you want, you can go and you can change it. Magma, you will be able to see same type of a graph. Cluster map is also there. We already have PV flights. Now, what is clustering? I told you. Clustering is nothing but what? Grouping. So maybe in case of machine learning, we generally make use of algorithm for clustering the data. But yes, we have a simple package with the help of which we can go and we can try to check whether there are some clusters present in the data or not. So we have a data PV flights. If I run it, you will be able to see something like this. Now, what is this cluster map graph? What is this cluster map plot? So this is showing us the groups or similar kind of a data depending on some values. For example, let's see. Now see, you already noticed that in the year 1960 and 1959, most of the passengers traveled. Or I said more or less same number of passengers traveled in both the years. That's why you will see that those 2 years are in one cluster. See, this is nothing but what? 1959 and 1960. You can actually check it. So depending on the data, cluster map is going to show the cluster. See these two. And if you check month-wise, and see, try to understand, these years are not in sequential manner. See, 1949, 50, 53, 54, 51, 52, 59, 60. Why they are near? Because their data is same. That's why they are in one cluster. Similarly, maybe July, August, if you check, their data is same. That's why they are in one cluster. See, they are in one cluster, right? So like this cluster map helps you to form the cluster. Cluster, I mean what? Cluster means group. So cluster map helps you to form the groups. Okay, that's the only thing. But otherwise, in real time, what we generally do is we make use of K-means algorithm or DB-scan algorithm for forming the cluster. And again, just to make the that particular diagram readable, see what we can do is we can make use of a standard scale. So if you see in the previous graph, the scale was not standard. So if you check here, the scale was created depending on the values in the data set. So here, if you check, this is nothing but the scale. So yes, you can give the lowest and the highest value. So if you want a scale as 0 to 1 or 10 to 100, that's possible. So for that, we make use of a parameter called as scale. And that's what I'm trying to show you here. So same command I will be running here, but this time with the standard scale. And if you want to change the color map, you can change it. Okay, otherwise everything is going to be same. So color map, now you can check the standard scale. It is from 0.0 to 1.0, right? But again, interpretation is going to be same. So it has formed the clusters depending on month and depending on year column. for passengers, number of passengers. I hope you people are able to make some sense out of this. Okay, so that was all about matrix plot. Okay, maybe let's see this grids. Grids is nothing but what grids is actually, it is going to help you to change the background. See, let me import matplotlib. This will not take much time. Okay, now what is this grid all about? So there is a data set called as iris. Iris is a data set which is related to plants. Okay, let me just show you the data set itself. See, this data set I am going to import now. This is a data set which is related to plants. Okay, just for your understanding purpose, I am showing you all these things here. See, iris is a data set which is by default present in case of Seaborn package. Okay, now in case of iris, there are different varieties of flowers. It's a data set of plants. Iris is a data set of plants. Let me show this particular diagram sample. See, in the data set you will be able to see something like this. So there is something called as sepal. This is called as sepal. There is something called as petal. This is called as petal. So we have columns in our data set: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and the class of the flower. So in the class we have a flower called as setosa, versicolor, and virginica. These are the three classes of flowers which are available. Okay, so same data set I am going to import in case of Seaborn package. So here I will name the data set as iris. Suppose iris is equal to SNS dot Seaborn. SNS dot lead underscore data set, load underscore data set, and here the name of the data set itself is iris. So see, I have imported a data set and let me run it. Now see, sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and the species. So there is a setosa, virginica, and versicolor. These are the species actually. We can check that 150 number of rows are there and 5 columns are there. So this was just for your understanding purpose. If by chance if someone is not aware about this particular data set, just understand this is the meaning of sepal length, petal width, petal length, because the same columns I have in my data set. Okay, and based on that data set only, we are going to run the remaining graphs. So let me run a head command here. See, sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. What is the meaning of this particular thing? It means that if a particular flower's sepal length is 5.1, if its sepal width is 3.5, and petal length is 1.4, and petal width is 0.2, it is setosa, and so on. Right? So this is what we have. This is the data set we have. So as we want to understand something called as grids, that's why we have actually imported it. So there is something called as pair grids. SNS.pair grids is going to create the grids or the places where you can go and where you can plot the graph. See, it has created the pair grids. SNS.pair grid for iris. So pair grid, I mean to say what? See, if you just try to understand how many places it has created. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 more. That means 16 places it has created. If I go and if I click, see, 16 places are there. Why I did so? Why I did so? Because we have how many number of columns in our data set? 1, 2, 3, 4. Forget about this categorical data spaces. So we have 4 numerical columns. 4 by 4 is what? 16. That means what are we trying to create is we are trying to create something like this. We are trying to divide this canvas into 4 by 4 grid so that we will be able to see the relationship between all of them. See, on y-axis, what are we able to see? Sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. On x-axis, same thing. Sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. So 4 by 4, 16 graphs you are going to make. So grid is nothing but we are just trying to create a place where we are going to plot the graphs. Okay, so see, I have created the grid and then I am using g.map plt.scatter. So actually this is a combination of scatter plot and matplotlib. What is this plt.scatter? Plt is what? Plt is nothing but matplotlib, which I have already imported. So let me show you this particular graph. First of all, I created the grids, and on those grids, I am just trying to plot a scatter so that I'll understand the relationship between each and every column. For example, if I want to understand the relationship between sepal length and sepal width, this is the relationship between them. What it says that if the sepal length increases, it can be seen that sepal width also increases. So somewhat linear. Obviously, petal width and petal width relationship is like this, same column, opposite same column. The relationship between petal width and petal length is again linear, but there is some gap here. There are some datasets which are not present. And again, in case of sepal width and petal width, the relationship is something like this. Okay? So like this, you can have a look at the relationship between all the columns present in that particular data. So what I have shown in these grids is nothing but different plots. Okay. So maybe as time is up already, maybe in the next session it will take us 15 minutes to complete all these things. So I will be talking about remaining things in the next session. Okay. And then we will continue with the first algorithm, that is linear regression, in the next session. But till then, be prepared with all these things, whatever we have covered. As I told you, maybe I can ask you to go for some online test. Okay. So objective kind of exam. So in that case, you will see the questions will be based on the things which we have discussed till now. Okay. So any doubt, anyone? Anything? Any doubt? Any question? In general, you want to ask? Yes. Can you please let me know any doubt, anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, then send your numbers and names. We will stop, and we'll continue the discussion in the next session.